What's good? It's your host Philly Phil, and I'm here to talk that talk. And today, I want to talk about how Russell Wilson going to the New York Football Giants is a straight joke, man. But if you're new here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Talk That Talk PHL, where we talk the latest and greatest Eagles and Sixers news. But you know, we gotta talk about these football giants, man. And we only talk about them because they in our division in the NFC East. They one of our rivals, man. And them bummy Giants, they do another bummy move from that front office, man, by signing quarterback Russell Wilson, which is embarrassing for him, who's a quarterback who should go down as a legend, a Super Bowl winner with the Seattle Seahawks. He just keep tarnishing his legacy by going to these organizations where he won't win a Super Bowl. He had legitimately a shot with the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though we all know that Pittsburgh wasn't coming out of the AFC with the likes of the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens in that conference. The Steelers, they had a chance, but we all knew they wasn't going to a Super Bowl. But now you take a 1-year deal. Granted, it's for good money. I think it's up to $21 million, $10.5 million guaranteed, but that's a bummy team who might not even make the playoffs, man. The Giants showed you what type of organization they were when they didn't sign the face of their franchise in Saquon Barkley, man. And he came to the Eagles, and y'all know what he did. He won us that Super Bowl and brought that Lombardi back to Broad Street, baby. He became a Broad Street bully after leaving the New York City Losers, the New York City Midgets, and the Giants. And he came and got a Lombardi, man. He became a champion. So this move of Russell Wilson becoming the quarterback of the New York Giants is just a joke, and it's embarrassing, man. Like, I'm tired of these legendary quarterbacks just going to these franchises either for a bag or just to continue playing, when in all actuality, you're probably better off retiring or going to a team that you have a legitimate chance to win a Super Bowl with, man. We see it all the time with the Aaron Rodgers and the other quarterbacks that just at the end of their prime, they're just going to these teams and they're not doing anything. It doesn't make sense for Russell Wilson to be a New York Football Giant, and they just signed Jameis Winston to a 2-year deal, which I kind of understood that because the Giants could potentially draft a quarterback this year. You got some good quarterbacks in the draft, such as Cam Ward coming out of University of Miami and Shedeur Sanders coming out of Colorado. But to sign Russell Wilson and potentially not draft a quarterback in the first round would just be a New York Football Giant thing to do, man. They always just make dumb moves that don't make sense. And I'm surprised but not shocked that Russell Wilson would make a move like this, man. We all know that he's been going around the league a few times since leaving Seattle, and you know, he's a family man, and I think at this point he's doing what's best for his family. There was rumors that Sierra didn't really like being in Pittsburgh, so I could see New York being a market where Russell Wilson and Sierra and his family could really thrive and really, you know, be the type of family they want to be, and you know, those type of figures in the media that could look good in the New York market, man. But as far as a football decision, I do not see why Russell Wilson would want to go to the Giants. We all know they don't have no good running backs. We all know they don't have a good offensive line, as evident by the gameplay of, you know, Daniel Jones. And even though he's a bad quarterback, he couldn't stay off the ground, man. The offensive line kept Daniel Jones on his back paws. The running backs couldn't get through no holes. They didn't open up any lanes for the running backs to thrive in New York. The receivers, besides the rookie that they had, Malik Neighbors, they couldn't do anything. The defense was trash. I mean, Saquon was arguably the MVP last year. He ran all over their defense, but they couldn't stop a nosebleed on defense. So I don't see it, man. I don't see why a quarterback that's a potential Hall of Famer and Russell Wilson will go to New York to try to act like they're going to make the playoffs or make some type of run. Now, this is really a money move that I'm seeing, and I respect it as far as the family man aspect, because let's keep it honest, they play this game to make money and to feed their family too. So I get it, bro. But from a football perspective, there was other teams you could have potentially went to. Now, I don't think he could have stayed in Pittsburgh. I think they was ready to move on. A team like the Jets, they went with his backup in Pittsburgh and Justin Fields. I think they're going to see how that works out. You got Minnesota, who I think is going to ride J.J. McCarthy, you know, the good rookie that got hurt last year who couldn't really play. They're going to see what's going on with that. They're saying that the Vikings might potentially pick up Aaron Rodgers as well. We'll see. Like I said, which is another quarterback that's at the end of his prime that's just reaching, man. They just searching for a place to go to just start and get a bag, and I call it tarnishing their legacy, because it needs to end at the right place, man, because it's not a good look if you just go in places just to get a bag and not potentially get a ring at this point. I mean, Russell Wilson, he has a ring, so he's cemented as far as a legend, especially in the Seattle area. I mean, if we keeping it real, a lot of Seattle fans, Russell Wilson left a bad taste in their mouth, man. They was ready to see him go, and I don't know, man. They could have had 2 rings. That second ring they could have won. That wasn't his decision to go for a pass at damn near the goal line when you have Marshawn Lynch. That was a Pete Carroll decision, which kind of tarnished his legacy in Seattle, because if you win multiple Super Bowls anywhere, you cemented a legend no matter how it ends. I believe sometimes if you win 1 Super Bowl, you cemented as a legend. Jalen Hurts, even though he only has 1 Super Bowl win so far, which I believe he'll have multiple rings at the end of his career as an Eagle, he's a GOAT in Philly, man. Now, I do believe he need to win another one to really be a GOAT far as the NFL, but far as in the city of Philadelphia, there's nothing you can say about Jalen Hurts right now, man. Far as him being a GOAT and arguably the best quarterback in Philadelphia Eagles franchise history. But Russell Wilson going to the Giants, man, it's a joke. It's embarrassing. It's not going to pay off. And don't be surprised if Jameis Winston take that starting quarterback role, man. Or if they draft a rookie, which they should do in the early first round of this year's draft, he'd take over the reins, and Russell Wilson is a backup and he's a mentor. Once again, man, if you're new here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Talk That Talk PHL. It's Philly Fel, and I'm out.